And then James adds a healthy dose of intuition.
Yeah.
We both do, because the intuitive part of tarot is really what our online course is about, intuitive tarot. That really anyone can read tarot cards as long as you learn to trust your own intuition and as long as you're open to what the cards have to tell you.
And I got to say, when Liz developed this with me, I was really shocked because she's a great reader, a tarot card reader, and it's a way into the knowing. Yeah, you're welcome.
So it's a way into the psyche.
It's a way into the psyche, and it's just and it's amazing because we did this before for student calls, and we'll see what's on the cards, but then Liz will tell us in the cards, and I use the intuition, so we match both of them.
Right, kind of the yin and the yang. You don't take it too literally, but you do have the tarot cards do guide you. Yeah. So they kind of start you off, and then you let your intuition
and the
fill in the blanks.
The possibilities going ahead. And how does that deal? Kelly's really an expert with astrology.
Right.
So you want to help me put the two together, or what is that? Would you say?
Well, I think it's so similar. As I was kind of thinking about what we were going to talk about today, I thought, wow, it's just like astrology, because if somebody's a Leo, you don't say to them, oh, you're a Leo, and this is exactly how you are.
Right.
But you might say, because there's all kinds of styles of Leos, styles of Aries, styles of Scorpios. They're not, there's not 12 types of people in the world. Right.
All the aspects.
These different aspects. But how nice to be aware, for example, if you're a Taurus, of how you might, what your attributes might be and what things you have to watch out for.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because the year 2025 brings a lot of transformation. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a real interesting awareness to see where we go with this kind of new transformation.
Yeah.
But when you look at astrology, Kellee, because I know that's your, one of your passions, do you really, if you're reading somebody's chart and they're going, well, that doesn't really sound like me. Like, how do you, sometimes you look at the cards and you're like, well, that doesn't really make sense for 2025.
Yes. That happens a lot. That happens a lot, actually. They'll say, no, I don't think in that way or this or that. But really, for me, it's just giving somebody an awareness is what you guys are talking about, giving them an awareness of what perhaps this could mean and opening them up in a way to see things. It's all about know thyself and use your intuition. So I think that tarot is a wonderful way to open up the psyche for this. And astrology is as well.
And Kellee, with astrology, would you say it shows the possibilities that are available for someone as well?
Endless possibilities. Yes.
Yeah.
I love to look at that
as well.
Right? 100%.
And it's not about interpretation as well, right?
Right.
Yeah. Interpretation, intuition.
And just like mediumship, it's a three-way thing. It's the medium, it's the card. Well, actually, it's a four-way. Well, it's a three-way with mediumship because it's you,
right?
It's the spirit,
and the cards,
and it's the person you're doing the reading for. Yeah. And with this, it's you and the cards and the person clients. You're reading for.
Yeah.
So there's energy with all three.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And Liz has done some spreads for Eric, my roommate, and other people, and it's like, wow, it was a blow away. I was like, wow, it was so good. Your interpretation was right on.
Well, it's so much fun to see how the cards relate to each other. That really, we're going to be doing spreads. We'll pull a single card here and there, but we're going to be doing spreads because they tell such a better and more complete story.
Can you tell everybody what a spread is in case they don't know?
Sure. So if you just pull a card, like if you have for years and years, I had my deck of cards. I had not this deck, but my original deck for over 30 years.
Wow.
And once in a while, you'd pull a card and sort of say in the morning, like, what do I need to know about the day? What's the day going to bring? And what do I need to bring to the day? Right. That was sort of my thing of like, what do I need to know to be, make this the best day possible? And that's great. And you can pull a card and you can get a lot out of that. And what I would do is sort of reflect on it throughout the day. So you sort of, as the day evolves, you're like, oh, I get it. I see what's happening here. Mm-hmm. But with a spread, you've got maybe 3 cards. You might pull 3 for past, present, and future. Mm-hmm. Or you might pull 2 for what are my strengths? What strengths do I bring to this situation? And what weaknesses, what do I have to watch out for? Or we're going to do a very cool New Year's spread that starts with the theme of the year. And it goes through the challenges that you're going to have to overcome and the opportunities that you're going to embrace and what you bring to the table and what lessons you're going to learn. So that's going to be a really fun one.
Great.
And so, it's just, but you look at like the cards and how they relate and what the suits of, the cards, tarot cards have the major arcana, which is the 0 to 21, the Fool's Journey, which starts with the Fool, starts with the naive young man who's setting out. And it goes through this, kind of journey to where he's got the world, he's got the cycle has been completed. Right. And then there's also 4 suits, just like playing cards that start with an ace and end with a king. So, but the suits have different, if the suits are cups, wands, swords, and pentacles, and each one has a certain meaning. So if you see a lot of patterns, if you see, cups and swords, you kind of know what that's going to mean. So there's just this sort of you'll just sort of look and you'll see the theme and you'll see the patterns. And that's really what gives you such good insight. And you can't get that from just pulling a single card.
And Liz, I have a question for you. How many years have you been doing this now?
Oh gosh. I mean, I've had my cards for over 30 years and I've been, I started really slow. And then when we started working together 10 years ago, it inspired me to really go a little deeper.
So I was just wondering, so the more you've done this, you got better and better at it,
sure,
right? More interpretation, and you trusted yourself more.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing what you just spread. I'm just telling you.
It's so much fun. And it's so interesting and it's so enlightening.
And for our school, we had a student called Kelly, and it was really amazing because we did spreads and we asked the students, what do they get from it? And it was so interesting that some students got a very particular, like a branch with leaves, and it's the springtime. I never even saw that, or the standing on something. It's like, oh, I didn't see that until you mentioned that, or the colors, or the mountain in the background. It's fascinating. Each person looks at it differently.
Wow.
And it's fun to pull. It's great to pull the cards no matter what. But New Year's is such a great opportunity to really look ahead and take this moment, because the holidays can be really hectic. We're right in it now. We started with Thanksgiving, and Christmas is coming up, and New Year's. And
I'm already on Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh! But to take that pause and think like, why do you think people make New Year's resolutions? It's because
to change moving forward, better exist, better place.
I always love like a blank slate. You feel like the New Year is just open opportunities, and if you can have a little bit of insight, it's so helpful. So I think that's why it's so nice to do this kind of predicting the new year and what it has in store for us with the tarot.
Yes,
that's great.
And how are we going to do this tonight?
I was just going to ask that same question. I know how we're going to do it, but I was thinking that.
Well, what we're going to do is we'll pull some spreads, and we'll kind of all talk about what we get out of that.
Perfect.
So, I'll tell you some of the general meanings. And Kelly, are you familiar with tarot? I mean, how much?
I'm really not, but I use the Destiny system, the Destiny card system. So I'm assuming it's very similar. And if we put that along with some astrology in it.
A little different.
A little different?
Okay. Yeah. Destiny cards are more defined.
Okay.
Where I think tarot is, it's interpretation more.
But you can look at the cards, and I hope you'll do that. Look at the cards, and if you see water, know that the water means a journey. Yes. And also everything can mean different things. So the water could mean a journey or moving forward,
or emotion,
or intuition. And the cups represent love and family. The wands and fulfillment. The wands represent magic, as James says, like the magic wands. And creativity and making things happen.
And swords are obstacles.
Swords can be conflict, or swords can be the mind. I mean, swords really represent the intellectual,
like sharpness.
The sharpness.
Oh, very good, Kel. You're
catching on.
But the swords tend to come with there are more like cards that kind of are like warning cards, or because it's not easy. When you overthink, it can get hard.
You can analyze it too much. Yeah.
And then pentacles are the last, and the pentacles are material things. They could have to do with security. The pentacles are like the earth signs, right?
That's like foundation too, right? Foundation.
Taurus is like, if you think of Taurus, it's like that's what the pentacles are all about.
Okay.
And where you see the designs in the cards, Kelly, it's just so interesting and intricate, and you get something different. Each person gets something very different. So it's interesting. Yeah.
And by the way, there is a very close correlation between astrology and the cards. So the wands are fire, are associated with the fire. The cups are water. The swords are air, and the pentacles are earth.
Ooh, great.
So as you're looking at them, that might give you that's a clue to interpreting them. Okay. So, all right. So
we've set up the studio, so we have a separate camera for the tarot cards. So.
And just one thing to talk about is it's not, like we said, as we're pulling these cards, if there's cards that look scary, first of all, a lot of tarot cards, like the death card, that people go, when they see it, there's really nothing frightening about it. It's just about rebirth, and it's about transformation, it's about change.
Or the ending of something.
Right.
It
doesn't mean you're going to be hit by a bus.
Right.
I've always thought that when I saw that card, I was it's a new beginnings.
Right. Yeah. The same with the tower, like
the tower.
Yeah.
Or the hangman. I've heard of that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Hangman is really about like taking a moment and allowing things to happen.
So surrendering.
Yeah. So there's nothing that's going to show up that's going to scare us too much. So, and if you, and we'll talk about, for those people in the audience that have a tarot card deck and want to play along, you're welcome to do that. We'll explain the spreads. We'll explain the cards we're putting down and what they mean and what the positions mean. And then we'll pull the cards. So you're welcome to kind of go work along with us. Okay. So do we want to pull one?
Yeah, let's pull one.
Well, I guess
you pull them first, or
so we are doing all of this live, so we don't know. We really don't, and I have not removed any scary cards from the deck, which I know people sometimes do.
Do they?
Well, especially if you're at a party or a wedding.
Oh, okay.
Like say we're pulling cards at a wedding or something.
Yeah,
you would want the happy. So there's nothing wrong with that, but we've got all the the cards in the deck right here.
And it's an interesting thing Liz says when she reads the card, because I've looked at it and said, oh, that's a little, and she reads it, and interpretation is always like kind of a positive spin. It's not like getting to be scared of, it's just a way of looking at it, right?
Well, because if someone was to say to you, like you say, I've heard you say to people like, oh, you need to, check on your feet or check on your heart or check on your, there's that knowledge is power. Like stuff is happening already. Having a little insight to it is only going to help you.
And I think, and what I say all the time is everything's an opportunity.
Right, exactly.
Always.
And I have a quick question. If the card comes up a certain way, backwards or forwards, or however it is, if it's laid upright or upside down, does that make a difference?
It does. And it can mean different things. It could mean, in fact, we were just pulling a couple of cards, and we were doing a past, present, and future. And we pulled the Page of Pentacles, which is kind of kind of getting started in the past with putting your security together, building your financial security and your security in general with a career. And then the next card was actually just happened to be the next card in that sequence, which would be the Knight of Pentacles. But he was upside down and he was looking back at the page, which basically, so what that meant was, you're moving forward, but you're also looking backwards and sort of questioning your path.
Yeah.
And so it can really mean different things, and you have to sort of intuit the meaning. But upside down can kind of mean, oh, this is happening, but it's happening on like a different level, where not in the physical world, but more internally. It could mean that you're doing something, but it's blocked, or you're second guessing yourself. Something's holding you back.
Well, interesting enough, Mercury is retrograde right now, and that's the first thing I thought of.
Scorpio, Kellee, or is it Scorpio?
Yeah, in Vedic astrology. Yeah.
Lovely.
So let's just for fun.
Okay.
Let's pull past, present, and future.
Okay.
For the year ahead. So let's talk about kind of where we are, in the world. Like, let's look at it. We're pulling for the world, right?
Lay down.
And let's, James, if you want to cut the deck.
Cut the deck. Pearl is at my side here, so
Pearl is
she
here.
wants attention and can't get it. Go lay down. Go lay down. Okay.
Good girl. All right. So if we can switch over to the tarot cam.
The tarot cam. Isn't that great?
Okay. Now this card represents the past and what's happened in the fairly recent past. This is where we're at right now as the year comes to an end. And this card is going to represent what's to come. All right, let's see. Drum roll. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so the Knight of Pentacles is the past. It means in general we were, and pentacles are slow moving.
Oh wow!
So this could be the past that's been happening for quite a while, but it's kind of this slow pursuit of material things. And knights are kind of going after things. It's a very male energy. They're going after it, but pentacles are not charging forward. Pentacles tend to move.
Roll.
They roll.
Right, they roll.
Exactly.
Well, 9 also means completion.
Okay,
so
right.
It's the 9 of Pentacles would be a completion.
Oh, very good, Kellee. You're right.
But it's the Knight.
The Knight.
Knight.
So present card.
So that's the past.
Okay.
So as a people, right, we've sort of like been slowly pursuing this fight, security and safety. Okay.
Oh, that's all going.
And then presently, the Hermit is the present card.
I love the Hermit.
Yeah. And the Hermit is like going within.
Yeah.
But that's very realistic right now. Everybody is going within right now.
They have no choice.
They have no choice. And the other thing is, and I had mentioned this earlier before we got on live, we have 2 new moons in December of 2024.
Isn't that wild?
It's called a black moon when there's 2 new moons. It's a really rare thing. And 2 new moons represent going inward, actually going inward. So you right now, this is like right on, something has been completed. We are going inward right now. And if most people are very, they're not sure what to do with their life. So they're really going inward right now.
Kellee, what is the moon sign? What are the signs that moon is in?
The first one in Vedic is in Scorpio. The first one was December 1st in Scorpio. And a lot of planets in Scorpio right now, and in Vedic astrology. And on the 30th of December, it moves into Sagittarius, James. So really what it means completion and new beginnings. And it's a double whammy of new beginnings. So it'll really give us all a time to be a hermit, to go in and to really think about what it is you want in life. It's a really important time. I can't stress that enough.
And what your values are. And
everything, James. Yep.
Your place in the world, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And what feeling does a hermit give you, James? What do you?
The hermit gives. Can I see it again?
Yes.
It's a lantern, right? Holding a lantern. Yes. So I think exactly what you said. It's time to go inside and look and see the light within, and share it with the world. But first, go within.
Right.
It's almost like when I talk about you can't, how can you love another person if you don't love yourself?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You first got to love yourself.
And the hermit is alone, but he's not lonely. He's got his
loves
thoughts.
His solitude. Like me, I love my solitude.
And I think for December, like the hermit makes so much sense to me for December. It's like reflecting winter and almost hibernation and reflecting on the year.
Right.
It's pretty wild, right? It's so on.
Yeah.
So let's see what's in store for us. Oh, interesting. Okay. So the Chariot. We were just talking about this card. So the Chariot is momentum and movement, and whatever we've, whatever we've put in place is moving forward, and there's not a whole lot we're going to be able to do to stop it. So just be aware that things are going to change, cycles are going to happen. It's going to keep moving forward, and you can keep moving forward with it. You can choose to, keep going, or you can choose maybe to take a different path.
And
that makes so much sense right now.
Kellee, you said Capricorn is in Jupiter. Is it Jupiter and Capricorn? Is that what
no, Jupiter's in Taurus. And it's going to be a very, very powerful year that we have coming up.
Transformation. It's exactly
a lot of transformation right now.
Wow, that's great. Wow. Isn't that great?
Wow, that really makes a lot of sense. Is there a number connected to the Chariot?
7.
7. So going forward in spirituality.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of that inward work that we're doing now.
Yeah. Very much so.
And I think that's a pretty encouraging card.
Yeah.
Oh, I do too. Yeah. That we will go forward.
We will move forward for sure.
Of course.
But how interesting that we're going to be, and that's where the pattern comes in. It's like, okay, the things we were thinking about, the security and the money and the finances that we were worried about in our jobs, we're going to go within. We're going to elevate a little bit, and then we're going to move forward from there.
That's great.
Yes. Yeah. Wow, what a spread.
That's a pretty good spread.
That's a good spread.
And you notice
really accurate. Yeah.
I know. And you see what we mean about how the cards play off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you just pulled the Chariot, it wouldn't tell as much of a story.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like telling a story, right? We talked about that, telling a story. It's great.
So I was doing a little research today about New Year's spreads. And I found another one that I really liked, that I thought was a lot of fun. And I shouldn't call it fun because it's really more than that. But that was really interesting.
It spoke to you.
And very insightful, and it spoke to me. And so shall we try that, or do you guys?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay, so let's have James cut this again.
Cut the cards.
And there's 5 cards in this one. Okay. And I talked about this for a minute before. So the first card we're going to put down is the overall theme for the year ahead, for 2025. And card number 2 is the opportunities to embrace. So what we have to look forward to in 2025, and what we need and opportunities that we need to be open to and be looking for. And then 3 are challenges that we should prepare for and expect. But the good news is we have strengths to lean on to tackle those challenges. And card number 5, because this is the schoolhouse that we're all at.
Yes.
Is the lessons that we're here to learn in the
for next
coming year.
Yeah. Wow, isn't it amazing?
So there's a lot there. So let's find out what's our theme for 2020. Oh my goodness. Okay,
How funny
so we did
is
shuffle,
that?
and James cut the deck a couple of times.
Is that the Hermit for the
Yes!
theme?
The Hermit is back.
Wow.
So we're gonna have to go within.
We have to go within. Is there a number attached to the Hermit?
It is 9.
More completions. Like maybe it's going in with such deep transformation that people will let go of whatever has bogged them down, whether it's not forgiving somebody or not dealing with their own emotions or neglect or something that they haven't dealt with, that they would be completing in this cycle going forward.
So Kelly, I was just thinking you're saying that and definitely is a sense of finding your soul self.
Oh, I love that. And here's another thing. The year 2025 will be a 9-year completion. So you are right on. I think that we will be doing a lot of soul searching.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Finding your soul self.
Card turned over. I thought the soul.
Wow. Wow.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
So before we turn over the opportunities to embrace, one interesting thing about the tarot, one kind of funny thing, is sometimes you'll have a position in a spread that's like the good news or the opportunities or your strengths. And it'll be something that you're like, oh, this doesn't feel like a strength, right? It's the death card, or it's it's a card that doesn't feel necessarily like it fits.
Right.
And that's where you have to kind of just take a minute and dig a little deeper and see like, okay, what is that telling me? Or is it that, your hopes, it might be a card that's like your hopes. And it's like your hopes might be that things get too good. It might be, a negative thing, or it might be your fears, might be something that's very positive. It might feel like it's flipped or reversed or counterintuitive. But that's when that's when the real magic starts, because it really gets you thinking about what that actually means.
And one thing you do with your spreads and your reading, it's always very positive, and which it should be. You want to encourage the person, not destroy them, right?
And knowledge is power.
Yeah.
But it also, I'm curious, because sometimes people react a certain way.
Yeah. Like
the Chariot card, there's nothing negative about that card, but I always feel a little sense of, oh my gosh, are we going to be crushed by the wheels of the Chariot? Like I do have, sometimes I'll get a hit of like, oh, the Chariot's moving ahead and we're moving ahead. And that's why I like seeing the Hermit before that, because it's like gathering your own strength in your soul, your inner resources.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing with that, Liz, many people have a fear of moving forward.
Right.
They have a fear of it because it's the unknown.
It's unknown.
And that's telling you something about yourself, if that's how you react to that card.
Yes.
And also control. Hello.
Yes.
The more you think it through, that's why tarot is not a one day, fad. It's like you have the cards and you the more you interpret the cards and the more you see yourself pulling the same cards, because cards will come up in your life over and over again, and you start to see those patterns. So let's see what our opportunities to embrace are going to be. Oh my gosh. So here's the Chariot
weird.
again.
There's a Chariot again.
So the opportunities are the forward momentum.
Oh my gosh.
It's here.
And I swear
we shuffled.
And that was a 7 on that? Did you say the Chariot was a
7? Yes.
It's a 7. So really the opportunities for people for emotional growth, for spiritual growth, will be marching ahead for everybody. They will be able to grow spiritually.
That's great.
Wow.
And it's happening.
A lot of opportunities for that then, to go inward with this.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the Knight of Pentacles. Maybe we didn't shuffle as well as
wait before Liz, before you go on. That Chariot and that it's almost like what you've learned inside will help to push you forward.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Well, because that's the theme, that's the overarching theme, is that going within is the soul.
It's your power, right? It's your power. Okay.
And then the challenges to prepare for might be there's the Knight of Pentacles. So maybe we didn't shuffle as well as we thought, but the Knight of Pentacles is, like we talked about before, tackling going after the physical. So you might not, the challenges might be, maybe the market will dip. Maybe there'll be some hiccups in our financial security. And that's something to just prepare for and be aware of. But again,
so remind me what Pentacles means again.
Pentacles are money, finances,
security,
everything that's in the earth signs. It's career, things.
So it's a 9. Is that correct on that?
No, it's a knight. It's not. It doesn't really.
Is there a number to it? No number to it.
No, just a suit.
Interesting.
That's fascinating.
Here are the strengths that you're going to bring to the table. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you might be concerned about your security.
What is that?
Your security
that
might
card?
be handled, but that's
I can't see it from here. That's one.
The King of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles was this card, and the next card is the Nine of Cups.
Oh.
And the Nine of Cups that's the strengths you have to lean on. And the Nine of Cups is almost at the end of the cycle of the cups. And the cups are all about love and family and relationships. And so the 9 kind of goes through all the lessons you've learned across, from the ace to the, all the way to the 9. And it's like you're bringing with you this like kind of security and this faith in yourself and the people you love and the things you love and care about.
And as you turn that card over and you talk about it, I thought, anytime I see that card, fulfillment.
Yes.
So
because your cup runneth over. Your cups are full.
Yeah. And it could also have to do with emotions in families that maybe they'll, instead of discord, families will be coming back together.
Oh.
And the universe conspires for our highest good. You know that.
Yes.
Everyone, that's really something we should always be aware of.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Last one is
the last one is the lessons to learn. And that's the wands. It's the 6 of wands. And the 6 of wands, 6 is typically in the tarot because you're going from you're going from the ace to the 10 and then you're getting to the, court cards. But the 6s are usually like, okay, you kind of come over the hill, right? And so wands are all about creativity, like we talked about, and inspiration and magic and just making things happen. But they're not the physical. They're not your family. It's like that part of yourself, that self-actualization.
Right.
You've got all the other stuff, but now your creativity can flow.
Well, and 6 means balance too.
Right. So it's like you've turned the corner and you're confident and you're secure and you're moving forward. And that's the lessons to learn. The lessons to learn. This is saying that, hey, don't worry so much. Don't worry about so many things. Like, don't stress so much. Know that you're going to come out. If you have that strength within you, you're going to come out the other side. So that's a really encouraging card to see in this position.
Very much so. Very much so.
It's a great spread.
It's a great spread.
It's right on. Right.
And I did the kind of disclaimer about, sometimes the strengths are kind of going to look negative and the negative things are going to look positive. But that actually didn't happen here. These were all really aligned and in the right. All these cards were like in the right place.
Wow.
Yeah. Which we see more often than we see a lot.
It's amazing. Really.
Wow.
Having the students do it, it was just incredible. Really.
And so I want to shuffle really well.
Yeah, do you want me to shuffle while you talk?
Sure, you can shuffle while I talk. But if you think about the new year and you think about yourself, so you're pulling this and we're pulling this about, how's the world going to be and how are we going to live? How are we going to exist in it, in the year ahead? But also, like, the next spread I want to do is really very personal. So you can either take this as, think about how it applies to you personally, not the world. This is you. Or pull it yourself if you have a deck, you're at home and you have a tarot card deck, or pull it later. But it's one of my favorite types of spreads, which is really giving you suggestions for yourself. So the first one is what you need to release in the upcoming year.
Wow, that's great.
So what you want to let go of from 2024.
Right.
And what energy you're looking for and welcoming and inviting in 2025. And then what you need to do to grow. Okay. So I love these kind of spreads. They're really my favorite.
Okay, we're shuffled.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to cut it.
Okay.
And if we see those cards again, we're going to know.
I'm leaving the room.
It's meant to be.
Weird.
So are we ready?
And this is for?
This is the theme. This is kind of the theme of the year. It's what to release.
Okay.
Is the first card. So what parts of 2024 you want to leave behind, and what energy you can look forward to in the new year, and then what you need to do to grow and make the most of what's ahead. Okay. So here's what we need to release. Okay. So this is the 7. It was upside down, but this is the 7 of Cups. And what that card means, it's kind of an interesting card. I always feel like it's a pretty positive card because I like to have lots of choices. But basically the 7 of Cups is you're looking at all these opportunities in front of you, but there's almost too many. And the what's in the cups represents things like money and power and love and inspiration. Like, it's just all the different things that, you might choose from as you're moving ahead.
And it was upside down.
And it was upside down.
What did you say about that?
So when it's upside down, it means there's something blocking or there's a problem.
I was getting elusive.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of wanting everything. It's like a little kid who's trying to grab everything
in a candy store,
and they can't grab anything.
Yeah.
Or they're dropping it, or you're getting maybe it's like a little bit of overwhelm, right? Upside down.
Yeah.
Same.
So that's what you want to release, is that feeling of like, you don't necessarily, not only do you not want it all, or you can't handle it all, but you don't need it all. It's kind of like going back to the soul. If you think about the hermit's not like trying to grab everything in the candy store. The hermit is going within and going, okay, what really matters at the deepest level.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Wow.
Interesting, Kellee.
So that
very interesting.
So the reverse just means, there's choices, but it's like, but then again, it's a little too much. Like it's a little overwhelming.
Right?
It might be overwhelming for people.
Is there a number associated with that?
Yes, there is. That's a 7.
7, Kellee.
So interesting. 7 also, well, spirituality. 7 is, getting maybe just time to let go of certain things, and maybe people don't know what to let go of at this point.
Go within and find out.
Go within, yeah.
That's the advice, is the going within. And we're going to see what the advice is on card number 3.
And honor your strengths, honor your power.
I like that. Yeah.
Take an honor, jump in and just take, Yeah.
So do you see it as being, choose your tried and true, like stick with your strengths, or are you thinking of like try something new?
I always say, even with mediumship, when I first started, you just got to jump right in. I tell my students, just jump right in and just know the universe conspires for your highest good. And you just got to feel good about yourself. Yeah. Everything's an opportunity to learn. Well,
that's what's coming from me. It's like, be true to yourself.
Be true to yourself. Yeah, everybody else is taken.
So I took a peek at the next card.
Okay. And what does this represent again?
And this one is, what energy should you look forward to and welcome in 2025?
This
is a really interesting card. So here's another 7, Kellee.
Boy, a lot of spirituality coming up.
We got another 7. But 7 is 7 can be considered sort of a stealthy and sneaky card, but it can also be a very strategic card. Mm-hmm. So the 7, you might be in a position where you really have to bring it all together and bring your most strategic and almost ruthless self to the game.
That's true.
And kind of the positive. So it can be like a sneaky card. Someone's trying to take advantage of you. Maybe you need to be super vigilant about, what's going on around you, but you also can't take your eye off the ball. You've got to be very focused and very aware of what's happening.
Yeah. Great definition for that.
And let's see what you need to help you grow. Oh, this is great. Okay. So the Fool, which is a card that we love, right?
Yes,
James and I love.
Explain the Fool.
Okay. So the Fool is the first, that's a 0. It's a 0. And the Fool is starting out on the journey. The Fool is kind of what the tarot is all about, right? He's starting out on the journey with this optimism, but he's also walking cheerfully off a cliff. But he's going to be okay because he's just starting his journey and he gets to keep going. So the Fool is this sort of, almost this like sort of divine. Have you ever known somebody who's so kind of head in the clouds because they're so like evolved?
Yeah.
And that's kind of to me what the Fool is. So the energy you need to bring is this energy of like, oh my gosh, don't get hung up in all of this stuff. It's like the cheery hermit. Right, the Fool is like, he's all about kind of like you.
It's like me,
yeah. It's like he's
don't take things so seriously.
Right, don't take everything
have a
so
sense
seriously.
of humor about things. Laugh a bit because we have to here.
And I was thinking about something yesterday. I was talking to somebody and I was saying, I want this to be a really fun holiday season, and he was like, it will be as long as like nobody pushes my buttons. And I was like, well, you can choose not to have buttons.
That's right.
Like, you don't have to have a bunch of buttons.
Maybe boundaries.
Right. You can probably guess who I was talking to. Anyway, so
I know who you were talking about.
So, but you don't have to have, and the Fool doesn't have buttons. The Fool is like, he's just open, and he's just embracing it all. And he's got his little
He
dog.
laughs at his falls.
He laughs, right. He falls and he bounces.
Right? He bounces,
right. Like a drunk. They say, when you're drunk, you fall and you're not going to hurt yourself because you're so relaxed.
That's right.
So that's kind of
I like the Fool.
Yeah,
so
I like
much.
the Fool a lot. And the Fool is holding a flower, and he's got his little dog by his side, and he's good.
Yeah.
So that's, I love that. That is the energy I plan to bring into 2025.
Yeah.
So how about you?
Yeah, but I live that way now.
Yes.
I've learned that to take things so seriously because it all doesn't really matter. Just to gain this life,
But if the 7 of Swords is the is kind of the energy to be aware of, what to be aware of, what to be looking is like, there's stuff going on that you need to pay attention to. Yeah. The Fool is like, but just, the
Embrace
lesson is the
it and
action
move
to
on.
grow. Just embrace it. Don't overthink it. Don't overstress. But still be aware.
She's pretty good, isn't she?
That's wonderful. I was just literally thinking that, James. Really, Liz, it's really interesting to watch you do this. Terrific.
But it's so
I've learned so much.
But don't you love? It's just like astrology. You're like, oh, okay,
But it's a new language. This part of a lot of it is a new language for me.
Another tool, yeah.
Another tool, yeah. Oh, and you guys have the transformational courses. It started right now. So is it 50% off right now?
Yes, it's 50% off the two foundational courses of the school, which are the Psychic Intuitive Certification.
Great course.
And Mediumship 1.
Great course.
Great courses.
We're just looking at that today, and they're very, very popular, those two courses. And they should be.
And they are just as popular as they were when you launched them.
Yeah.
And people are still learning so much and loving them.
And they go back to all the lessons and they learn something different each time too, which is really great.
Well, that's the thing that I love about James's school is that you have lifetime access to the courses. Right. So as you evolve, as you're on your chariot ride through 2025, you can kind of check in on any lesson that you want to revisit. And
it's funny because a lot of the students say, I redid the course and oh my God, it was so different the next time.
Really?
You're in a different space. Yeah. 28-day transformation course, they said all the time. So yeah.
Wow. It'd be a great time to take this class, especially with these 2 new moons coming up, or these 2 new moons. It would be a great opportunity for people.
Opportunity. I just heard the word opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now we can pull a single card if you want, James. Like if we want to kind of personally, let's pull a card for you about your journey in 2025.
I don't know why.
Or do we want to pull one for Kellee?
Let's pull one for Kellee.
You want to pull one for me? Okay.
I think we should.
Okay.
We've been sort of shuffling.
Okay.
Cutting the deck, but I think for Kellee's, what we're going to do is we're going to spread them out, and then I'm going to have James pull the one that has the most Kellee energy.
Oh gosh. Okay. I'm going to go over here. Okay. I want to go underneath the pile, but here we go.
You got
That's it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The Ace of Swords.
Ooh, tell me about the Ace of Swords.
So the Ace of Swords, aces are always for all the suits, kind of like it's like think of it as maybe this isn't something you were paying that much attention to, but the fog is lifting or the mist is clearing, and you're seeing that like going forward, I want to be really in search of the truth, and that's actually what
yes.
Swords mean. It's like you're cutting through all the nonsense, and you're just getting to the truth.
And aces are new beginnings also.
Their new beginnings are super positive. They're always positive cards.
Ooh,
very you. Very you.
I love it. I'll take it.
Yeah, keep exploring.
I like the sword. Yeah.
I like the sword. and it's also the intellect. It's also thinking things through and really analyzing.
Excuse me, I just got the sense of another book.
Okay. Oh. Wow.
So you'll get your book next year. You'll start it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that.
For sure. Thank you. Great card.
That's a great card.
Let's do one for James.
James.
Yes. Kellee, you can. I don't know if you can. Or
I don't know how you do it from here.
When I run my hand over, you can tell me when to stop.
Okay.
I'm just gonna shuffle.
Is this fun?
That was so fun. It's so fun.
Okay.
Can you learn?
All right. So you just tell me when you want me to
stop. No, we could to the right. No, to the right. That one right there. Yep.
This is James. Oh, look, strength.
Yeah.
He didn't the strength card.
I'm working out.
Yay!
I want pizza.
So the strength card is really about spiritual strength. It's a woman, and she's opening the jaws of a lion, and the lion is not threatening her, and she's got the infinity sign over her head. So it's really a symbol of spiritual strength.
No,
it's so good. You, James.
It's very
yeah. I'm writing the book next year. There you go. So.
But it's like that sort of calm. It's not like an aggressive strength. It's
I'm
like
a fool.
It's a very fool vibe strength. It's
exactly.
Like you're just letting this happen. You don't have fear.
That's who I am.
Well, that is who you are authentically. I mean, you've been doing this work for 40 years, and you had no fear. You just kicked the door open and started doing it.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
So that's a great card.
I think, Liz, we should get one for you.
Okay.
Yeah, Liz, we think
James, do you want to pull one for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you shuffling? You're not a good shuffler.
I'm a terrible shuffler.
You're a terrible shuffler. Yeah. Hold on.
But you don't shuffle tarot cards. At least I don't like you would playing cards.
Yeah, I just do this. Oh, one fell.
Does that mean
oh, that's the one. Yeah,
that's the one.
That's how it goes. Yep.
Get it?
Yeah, I got it. Oh, look.
Oh, it's a good one.
So this is the 9 of Pentacles.
Ooh.
And she's holding a falcon.
Ooh.
Great one.
That's a really good one.
Really
it's like
good.
the culmination
Really
of
strong.
everything you've worked for. So strong woman, and she's it's like an abundance card. It's a generosity card.
Oh.
So it's like you.
It's so you.
Yeah, I love
really
that card.
Security and all that.
Yeah, security. You know, she's grounded. She's happy, but she's gathered everything, and she's happy to give it away and share.
That's true. Very you. Tell John you got that card.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
That's a great card, Liz.
Great card, Liz.
Oh my gosh, much success with that one.
Oh, good. I'm happy to see that. Thanks, James.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh my
No
gosh.
problem.
Can you pull a card for everybody out there that's watching?
Let's do that. Let's do it for our listeners.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Do you want me to-
No, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
I come from a family of poker players.
You do. So that's why you're such a good shuffler. Okay, this one's kind of poking its way out. Oh, interesting. Okay. Another set. We're really on a roll. Oh, that's an 8.
Wands?
Sorry.
So those wands?
I don't have my glasses.
Yeah.
It's the 8 of Wands.
Yeah.
And the 8 of Wands means things coming at you fairly quickly, right? So things are happening and you want to prepare, whether it's quick change, quick success, quick things you didn't expect, surprises. It's it's an interesting card because a lot of the cards we talk about have so much symbolism and so much, and this is a very simple card.
Yeah.
But remember, we're talking about the wands, which are kind of exciting things. The wands are, magical things, magical things happening, things you maybe didn't expect, but that'll be fun and different. So
well, 8 also, 8s bring power too, and infinity,
I
power and infinity.
Yeah, I get the sense of you got to believe in yourself for these things to happen. I just got that sense.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you got to believe in yourself when you get this.
But
in order to get the magic.
But you don't have fear with this card. This card doesn't look like, oh, there are things coming at you to hit you in the head. It's like, oh, life is coming at you. Like change is always, things are always happening. Yep. Change is good, and this is something you're gonna see some new things and some changes.
So there we go, Kelly. Does it make sense? I mean,
it makes a lot of sense. Yep.
Right.
And that does kind of align with your dark moon or your black moon.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of transformation, a lot of going inward, a lot of movement forward also. Letting go, releasing.
Letting go.
Right. And maybe that's true too. Maybe it's also things going away from you.
Yeah. Things that you believe.
So it's letting go of the in with the old, out with the new. I mean, what a New Year's kind of a theme.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Right. Out with the old, in with the new. Or
we know what you mean.
But also I would hope that the audience is kind of thinking about that card or other cards that they've seen. If there was another card that you saw as we were pulling all the different cards and you thought, wow, I really like that one, like the Fool or the Magician or the different cards that we saw that were just interesting. If something kind of stood out to you or resonated with you.
Resonate, right? Yeah.
Think it over. Maybe Google the meaning of it and just kind of ponder it or draw a little sketch of it or, think about it as you go through the next few days. If you have a tarot deck, pull the card out. Like James always says, if you pull a card and it just feels right, put it in your pocket and carry it with you for the day.
Yeah. Yes. Great idea.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How much is, and I know they break into suits, but regular playing cards, can you read them, not like tarot, but?
Well, you can read them in the same way that you would read the minor arcana. So the cards that we've been looking at, like we just looked at, the wands and the swords and the cups, they do correlate to playing cards. And some of the really experienced kind of old school tarot readers do read with regular playing cards. And sometimes they'll mark them up.
Carolyn Mumolo.
Just to say Carolyn. Yeah, she did that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there was somebody at Miraval Resort that used to do that.
That's right.
She was like a really older woman, and she was really, really good. And she used the regular playing cards. So I think there's probably tons of people who do that. Or some people create their own.
And there's it's very interesting online on YouTube. I watched it. Denavia turned me on to it. The Brooklyn Tarot Reader.
Oh.
And it's really funny. And she's a real strong New York accent, and she's just it's a whole experience because there's all the tchotchkes on the desk. Okay, so this is for the Capricorn. Let's go. Oh, and she's just great reader though. But she mixes the tarot and her intuition.
Really? Well, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really interesting.
We just it takes two of us for that.
We got to balanced.
But the other part is, and that's why it's great to have Kellee too, is to get the other person's reaction. And you're bringing so much of your own intuition to this.
I really enjoyed this. This is so fun for me. It's just, really I love the level of awareness that we can all come to.
But I think if you think about all the cards that we've seen and what is coming ahead, it feels optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like hey, you're going to need to be aware. You're going to need to be aware of yourself and aware of what you want, what you don't want. But there's nothing to be afraid of.
Right. Just go within.
Yeah, we can handle it.
Yeah. Yes.
God, this things we can handle. This is much more
right. And that's really what all these cards have said to me. There's nothing that I thought, oh, I wish I hadn't pulled that one.
Right.
Like I never had the thought, oh, I wish I'd taken that card out of the deck. You know, they all really make sense.
Other challenging cards?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, there are cards that definitely show you challenge, but also like the later cards in the swords, like the 9 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, the 8 of Swords. They're all about, betrayal or anxiety or a dark night of the soul, or but they also indicate the end of a cycle, right? So like the 10 of Swords, it's like you've had your challenges and they're really bad, but they also have come to an end. So now you have a chance to regroup. And also another meaning of that card that I just discovered that I thought was really cool was you may be overreacting. Like the person that's lying there with 10 swords in their back, maybe you're actually overthinking because the swords are so much about intellect and thinking. It's like you may be blowing this issue up to be a much, much bigger problem.
Too much in your head.
Yeah, too much in your head. Because when you get so in your head, we can make ourselves crazy.
Sure. Yeah, the rabbit hole.
Yes, we don't want to go there.
We don't want to go there. Good for rabbits.
So if you were going to give people advice, and Kellee, I know you're used to, you also use other types of cards. If you're going to do a spread at home, what advice would you give them on how to do that in the best way possible? Like, if you were going to say you're a novice, you're just getting your first deck, how do you pull a spread? How do you set yourself up and open yourself up, just like you would say to a medium or psychic that you're working with a student?
I would just say to prepare them, when you have the deck and you're ready to do a spread, just open that yourself up to whatever happens. Don't think negative, just as opportunities to look at. I think that's how it started off, it's always positive for me. It's not negative.
Oh yeah.
Kellee, what about you? What would you say?
I would say, when you're shuffling or you're moving the cards about, really put your energy into it. Put your energy into it. Really pay attention. Focus on that.
And Kellee, what I like, we talked about earlier, Liz, was what resonates with you. I love that. It's very true what resonates with you.
Right. Yeah. Because everything would have a positive and could have a negative. I mean, it's just how life is. You could have
duality. We're living in the duality world, as you said, Kel.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's true.
And duality is such a theme. We didn't pick a lot of the duality cards, but there are a lot of cards in the tarot that have like this duality, like understand that there's two sides to everything.
It's balance too,
And you just have to be open. Like the things that feel the most positive can also worry us, or like the 7 of Cups, like the overwhelmingness of that card.
Yes.
Of like all these choices. Wow, that's a lot. So it's great to have choices, but can you have too many? And then you think about that and you jot it down if you pull a spread in the morning. And then you just sort of ponder it as the day goes by. And you
I love that advice. I love that.
Yeah, some sign. Don't just go, oh my gosh, and then like put the cards away real quick. Like write it down or think about it, or a lot of times I'll take a picture.
And also at the end of the day, I mean, when you have it with you and you think about it, then all of a sudden, like maybe in the afternoon, you get a whole new way of thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's just that's really how the cards work is they just keep building on themselves. If you just put it in the back of your mind and you let it sort of percolate, as the day goes on.
As we've done this course, I would say to Liz, it's a story. It's a story that's unfolding, right?
Yes.
It feels like that, right?
And sometimes the lessons, if you remember that life is all about learning these lessons, the negative the cards that might feel negative or dark are the ones that are showing that there's a lesson ahead, which is really what you need to grow.
So you have to know that there's a lesson coming up.
If it was all just like sunshine and light, how much would you grow?
We wouldn't learn.
I'd be happy. You might have fun, but
for a little while. But it's the challenges that make us strong too, right?
There is a question here. Do you think the layout of a spread matters, or is it about the intention and the meaning?
I think the layout does matter, but you can create your own. You don't have to go with the tried and true, past, present, and future. You can, as you're putting it down, set your intention about what those places are. So you can create whatever layout you like. So you can have your greatest strengths and your greatest weaknesses. You can have things that you need to embrace and things that you need to let go. You can, whatever you can think up of, like, here's what I want to know. As long as you're setting your intention as you're putting those down, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just like you can personalize the meaning of the cards, based on your intuition.
Yes. Well, Liz, has been great. Thank you very much.
Wonderful show, Liz. Thank you so much. Your knowledge is just profound. I've loved it. And you guys still have it? It's on sale right now.
It's on sale right now in the school. Yep. And it was a great course that we developed. Really great. And people love it. So it's at my school, JP School of Mystical Arts, and it's on sale. The
Intuitive Tarot is not on sale.
Oh.
But it will be on sale in a few days. Okay. So
I thought it was a Cyber Monday.
No, Cyber Monday is actually Psychic and Intuitive, and then the Mediumship one.
Well,
so, but those are all good because you should
really
take them all.
Yeah.
Especially right now, based on the cards, this is a great time to go within, to tap into
learn
your
about
intuition.
your soul self.
Right.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, great way to do it.
Wow. And Kellee, you have something coming up too, right?
I do. This Friday we have Angels and Archangel class.
It's this Friday. I was wondering when that was.
This Friday, December 6th, and in Pacific time, it's from 4 to 6 p.m. In Australia, it's actually at 11 a.m. on that Saturday, December 7th. So please join us. It's a Zoom event, and it's with Janelle Campbell. It's going to be fantastic. James, she's going to be doing a channeling of the archangels, and we're going to be doing a meditation. You're going to learn a lot, and it's just going to be that energy of surrounded by angels. So we're going to be a wonderful class. And then Saturday, I'm doing a book signing, and you're going to come with me and do the book signing with me. I'm so excited.
Friday, you'll be up in LA already, right? You'll be there too.
Friday, I'll be in Los Angeles. Yeah, I'll actually be there Thursday. But and then Friday, I'll be in LA. And then Saturday, we'll be doing at the Crystal Shrine, it's called. We're doing a book signing in Burbank. So please join us if you're in Los Angeles.
And a lot of people are going.
Yeah, a lot of people are going. And listen to this. We have, speaking of cards, a friend of mine whose name is Charlene, who you'll meet, she works there. She does readings, and she's going to give everybody who's waiting in line, give a card reading for them.
Oh, that's great.
So that's going to be really fun. Yeah.
And the owner of the shop,
Shauna, who I love, Shauna McDonald. I love Shauna.
Well, I've known her for years.
Known her for years.
It's
going to be so fun.
I didn't remember, but she said, "Oh, we have the Laguna house."
Oh yeah, that's going to be great.
We go way back.
Way back. It's going to be really fun.
Super. Well, thank you, Liz, very much.
Oh, thank you. It's great seeing both of you.
Yeah, and Kellee, thank you, darling.
Thank you.
And Renee, thank you. And Ian, who's here doing the camera work, thank you. And we'll see you next time.